What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Chat with Will Grant. Today is my favorite subject: happy, healthy, and strong. This is truly what I've kind of revolved all of my content creation and much of my life around, and I'm super excited to connect with people all over the world and to share my experiences and share my story in hopes to help lift you guys up to a new level of yourselves to reach your potential to contribute at your most. Today, happy, healthy, strong. Where do I start? Well, one of my favorite things or sayings that I think about when I think of happy, healthy, strong is our bodies work as one moving, living organism. Meaning, the better one system is working, the better the whole organism will function and work as a whole. That pretty much means that the healthier our gut is, the better our brain is going to work. The healthier that our heart is, the better our feet are going to feel, or our knees, or our joints, or our ligaments. And it becomes much easier to have awesome days when we're healthy. It's when we're healthy, it's so much easier to be happier. Having an easy day when we're not having brain fog or when we're not struggling with anxiety, or I'm sorry, having an awesome day is so much easier when we're not struggling with brain fog, anxiety, or any joint pains, or even mental or physical pains. When our body is healthy, our mind feels good, our body feels good. That's when we're truly able to focus on our strengths and develop our strengths to start contributing those biggest strengths towards the things that we really care about. So I want every single person on here and every single person who's listening to just stop for a moment and think about their why, to stop and think about what is the most important thing to you. Because we all wake up and we get up for something. There's something that keeps us going. That could be a goal, that could be a person, that could be a family member, that could be a mission, or that could be a purpose. And I think the more that we can just stop and clarify that, it just helps clarify what are the next steps we need to do. So, and it doesn't matter what that most important thing is. If it's a person, if it's a mission or anything, the better that we can make ourselves, the more that we can sharpen our saw, the better we can be for whoever and whatever is the most important thing to us. So throughout this conversation, I want you guys to keep that in your mind of that one important thing. And it could be two things. It could be a goal and a person. But just keep that in your mind and just know that the happier you become, the healthier you become, and the stronger you become, the more that you can contribute and devote of yourself towards that one important thing. And what I've found from experience is the more that I contribute with my greatest strengths, and the more that I'm able to bring value to my environment or to the ones around me, the better I feel and the happier that I am. Um, every single person on this planet wants to feel love and valued, but to feel love and valued, we have to give love and bring value. And it's really hard to give love and bring value to anything or anyone that we care about if we're struggling with anxiety ourselves, or we're struggling with our own health issues, or just moving and getting up, it causes a lot of pain inside of our body, or it's hard to help the ones around us when we're too busy struggling with our own problems. And that's where we first have to start, is just sharpening our own saw. It's like that famous Abraham Lincoln quote that says, if he has 6 hours to cut down a tree, he would spend the first four just sharpening his axe. And that's kind of where I was at just a few years ago in my life, where I was putting all of my time and energy towards the things that weren't really serving me. And I found myself struggling with a lot of health issues, mental health issues, as well as physical health issues, to where I couldn't contribute or I couldn't bring value to anyone or anything around me. And then it just brought this spiral of anxiety, a spiral of not feeling good, a spiral of just kind of seems like everything was getting worse. I was feeling like I was getting more brain fog every day, more anxiety, and things were just getting more and more difficult. And then that's when I started to really change my habits, when I became aware of the result of my life, of where it is at any single moment, is just a result of the habits and the routines and the energy that I've been putting out there. So if I wanted to improve the energy that I was putting out there, I had to first improve myself. I had to improve my own habits and my own routines. And I started finding some very small, easy, effective habits that were making a huge impact on my energy throughout the day. When I was at my absolute worst, mentally and physically, is when my brother first told me about Wim Hof breathing. And that was really the first um, big flame that started the whole fire, so to speak. And when my brother first talked me through my first session of Wim Hof breathing, I think we just did 3 rounds, and I felt better than I've felt since I was a kid. All of the stress, all of the anxiety, all of the pain that I was feeling, that I was kind of just bottling up inside, that was um, starting to get worse and worse, just felt like it let go for a little bit. It eventually, after 30 minutes, a couple hours, it started to wear off. But the more I did this breathing, I just instantly noticed that the better I felt. And then with doing this breathing, I was able to really strengthen my ability to focus and strengthen my ability to pay attention and really clarify who I was. And the more that I connected with my breath and just listened to my body and listened to my breath, the more I started to really listen to myself and to really understand myself, and became hyper aware of all of these different habits and things that I was doing in my life that was not serving me, that was literally just holding me back and causing more weight on my shoulders, so to speak. But I knew that the more I did this breathing, the better I felt. So I told myself that I was going to do this every single day for a year. And this one habit led into all these other good habits, from reading to journaling, to fasting. And then I really started improving my nutrition and learning how to heal and learning how to move. Um, the only thing that we have control over in this whole entire experience that we're having is what we think, feel, and do. And the more that we can improve our ability to think, improve the way we feel, and improve our effectiveness in what we do, the happier, healthier, and stronger we're going to be. And the more that we're going to be able to contribute to, the betterment of us all. Um, so going into the what, like what were the biggest things that I changed that really made the difference in just feeling better myself? And it really came back to, over and over again, just getting outside and moving and breathing. Just getting that blood and oxygen flow moving throughout my body keeps everything flowing and keeps everything able to clean and repair. And so much of our health issues and pain issues and anxiety issues is us coming from holding on to things, holding on to an experience, to a thought, or even attention. If we have a labor job and we're doing the same movement every single day, it's going to build up a tension and an ache and a pain somewhere in our body. And just the more that we can get moving and breathing, the better that's all going to feel. And that's going to even lower our blood pressure. Just letting that blood flow and oxygen moving throughout our body is going to keep so much of our body working and functioning so much better and so much more properly. And the other thing is, it comes down to a huge part of nutrition, and So many of us just are so confused on what to eat because there's so much misleading information out there. I remember when I was a kid, they gave us the food pyramid, which now looking back at, we know is the quickest way to get any sort of cancer or heart disease is by having a ridiculous amount of grains and a ridiculous amount of meats. But there's just so much misleading information. But everything that I've been studying and I've learned and I've experienced in my life brought me back to the more natural our food is, the better we're going to feel with it and the better it's going to work. And by natural, I don't just mean, eating some plants instead of a Twinkie, but even the more natural that those plants can be grown, the better that they're going to be for us as well. Although, yes, a plant is always going to be better than a Twinkie. The more processed the food is, and the more different steps it has away from nature, tends to be the harder our body has of a time of processing it and using it as proper nutrients. And that's the kind of stuff that creates all the illnesses and the disease and the brain fog of just our bodies and mind not being fueled the right stuff. So to just start by moving from processed food to plants will make a huge difference in how we feel. And then once we're getting the plants, just to source those plants from higher quality places. Local, organic, and seasonal is always going to be the best. So I highly recommend every single person who's listening connect with their local organic farmer. You can just Google closest organic farm near me, join a CSA, where you can get a share of their weekly harvest every single week, support their website. That's the highest quality nutrients that you can get behind literally growing it in your yard. So yeah, those were a huge aspects. If you guys have any questions throughout all of this, you can just leave it in the comment box below. And if you're here with me live, I can see those questions and then I could go back and forth with you guys. And if you're on the YouTube later for the replay, again, you can leave those in the comments below and I could go back to those. So, um, a huge part of feeling happy, healthy, and strong is our routines. Our habits and our routines literally make us up of what we're going to experience in our life. And then when I started to improve my morning routine is when I just started having a little less brain fog. So I could make a little bit better of a decision every day for what I was going to eat that day. And it builds this inertia or roll of positive momentum when we're just focusing on the good things instead of always trying to battle all of the bad things that we struggle with. So, for example, one of the things that most people do that I find to have the quickest way of brain fog and bad decisions and really just not feeling our best is waking up and immediately grabbing our phone. That will tend to set the tone for our day to be so much more reactive with our energy and reactive with our focus, to just wake up to consume instead of to wake up to intentionally create the life that we're looking to create. So just to wake up in the morning and get on the ground or walk outside and connect with your breath and connect with your movement has been one of the most powerful habits that I've put into my morning routine for me to just feel good that day. I notice on days that I skip that, I don't feel as good. I'm a little bit quicker to react to somebody who might make me get upset. I'm a little bit quicker to forget something. I'm a little bit quicker to maybe just not give my best in something that's really important to me, as opposed to if I wake up and intentionally give my best in the morning in a good morning routine, my best was just so much better throughout the day. So I started sleeping with my phone on airplane mode in the living room or just outside of my bedroom. And before I grab my phone, I just like to do a few different habits that I know is going to prime me to give my best throughout the day. And remember your why. If that was a person, if that was a goal, to give your best to whatever that is, we want to be able to wake up and prime our body. You know, if you think of a race car, they don't just put that race car on the track cold and go 0 to 100. There's a lot of things that is going to go wrong. They want to prime that race car. It's just like you want to prime the soil, or just like you want to prime anything for it to be its best. And waking up with, again, some movement and some breath. Now, I like to get on the ground, get on the mat, preferably outside, and just do a few rounds of Wim Hof breathing, do a few stretches, do a few balancing moves, like squat sits. I'll hang. Just balancing on one leg can help you find your balance of your movement and your thought and mental preparedness throughout the day as well. Um, and same thing with an evening routine. There's so many of us who will watch TV until we go to bed, or just be on screens until we go to bed. And what that does is it'll actually take about 2 hours of all the screens off for your brain and your body to really start repairing and recovering. So I recommend turning the screens off at least an hour before you're going to bed. And again, get on the ground, think about what you're grateful for, and release the tension of the day. If that tension comes from Becky across the office who won't shut up, or if that tension comes from that repetitive movement or sitting throughout the day that is causing some sort of tightness in our body, we can use that time before we go to bed. We dim the lights, we get on the ground, and we just breathe into our body. And just the ability to use our exhales to actually release the tension. And everybody here that's listening right now could take a nice, easy breath in through the nose for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep exhaling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then inhale for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on this last exhale, consciously think about relaxing your shoulders on this exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that was just maybe 30 seconds. If we did that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you'll literally be able to relax all of the tension inside your shoulders, inside your neck, that we tend to build up every time that we get stressed. And just getting on the ground will help loosen up your hips and loosen up the tension in your feet, and just connecting to your feet. All of the toxins and the stress that we go throughout our day get pulled down to our feet. So to spend time touching our feet, I know it sounds a little crazy, putting our feet above our heads will help that flow throughout the body, so our body can clean up all the junk and replace it with the good stuff again. Now that we went over most of the why and most of the what, the next thing is how. We can have all of this good, positive information, but if we don't know how to use it, it's not going to be that effective. And I highly recommend writing this down. And that's been one of the biggest practices for me, because throughout this whole entire process, when I was learning these different habits and routines, I was documenting how I was feeling, and I was documenting what I was doing in my sketchbook. So I got to compare my really good days with my really bad days. And like I said, I started noticing that my best days came when I had good morning routines, when I was doing at least 3 rounds of Wim Hof every day. And my worst days with the most issues usually came when I woke up and grabbed my phone. And these were just one thing of many. Like, I was struggling with a lot of knee pain and a lot of back pain. And I noticed that my knee and back felt so much better when I woke up in the morning and I sat into a squat sit and just got on the ground and stretched and moved my spine and touched my feet. And that is what raised my awareness of, oh, wow, my habits are really creating my experience. So the first thing that we need to do is clarify. Always clarify your why. Again, picture that most important thing to you. Picture that is the most important thing that you want to absolutely be your best for. And then clarify what exactly you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. And then all we have to do is clarify what we're trying to do, why we're trying to do it, and then create these habits and routines that is going to align with getting you a little bit closer to that every day. And I like to think of the word practice more than a habit and more than a routine, because when you're waking up, it's a practice. You're not just doing the breathing and the movement on the ground to get it done, but you're truly practicing learning how to connect it with yourself deeper and really master yourself and master your mind and master your body. Um, and oh, Edwin's in here. What's up, Edwin? How are you? I was just about to tell him about Happy, Healthy, Strong.
Oh, what's up, Will? Sorry about the delay, everybody. Good to be with you. Love seeing some new faces and some familiar faces in the participants. Will, I was listening to you on the side, and man, you're dropping some wisdom on there. Thank you for that.
Yeah, but now it's the time for the how, of so how can we become happy, healthy, strong? And, you know, what I did is I spent years going through this process of diving deep in within my breath, and studying myself and studying my environment and reading a bunch of books and studying YouTube of just how can I be the healthiest I can possibly be? How can I be the happiest I can possibly be? And, I've spent years of my life building strength, and it always came down to what can I create that contributes, and that's also what brought me into, the happy, healthy, strong in 6 weeks. If you're out there and you're not sure how to start your morning, how to wake up and be your best, that's where I took in all of those years of research and I created into this 6 week program that can take anybody who's looking to become a little bit happier, a little bit healthier, and a little bit stronger, to improve their gut health. That's going to improve their mental performance. That's going to improve their heart and the effectiveness of how their heart works. That's going to help their knee feel better and their feet feel better and even lower their blood pressure as well. And I'm super excited to, finally have this happy, healthy, strong course out there for anyone who is really looking to take themselves to the next level. And all you got to do to get that is go to thewillgrant.com. It's literally the first thing right on there. And if you have any questions about any of it, you can ask Edwin or myself and message us on any sort of a different platform, or even email us as well. And I want to give one of the Happy, Healthy, Strong courses away this week, actually, Edwin.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, you want to take them on a quick tour of Happy
Yeah,
Healthy
yeah,
Strong?
sure. That's a great idea. Yeah,
All
so
right. Cool, cool.
Edwin can actually, because he's the computer guy, he can actually show you a little bit what's inside of the Happy, Healthy, Strong if you get into the program. And this also comes with a direct access with us and the team if you have any struggles or any even advice or want any extra help for us. So it comes off of my story and then everything that talks about the nutrition, a super smoothie, supplements. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah. So, Will, why don't you tell us, from a resource perspective, why did you group these the way you did?
Well, because that's something that you could jump into and it's like a practice of study any single time of, just to understand the nutrition is a practice of it's not just, okay, this is how I'm going to eat every single day because it's going to get a little bit boring, and then that's even from the supplements to the squat sit to the hang practice to it's just different ways for you can just start wherever you want to so it doesn't get all too consuming at once.
Yeah, awesome. There's a lot in there, right? I mean, there's even more under that area. So then once you go from there, you move into workouts. So tell us about how you structured these workouts.
Yeah, well, so it's a 6 week progressive program. So it starts with week one, and then each week shows you a new routine, a new habit to start implementing into your life. And they progressively get a little bit more challenging and a little bit more in depth. So by the end of the 6 weeks, I'm pretty confident you're going to be pretty happy, pretty healthy, and pretty strong. And, and if for some reason you don't, there is the 100% back money guarantee that we'll give you a refund. Just email us and let us know. But I'm pretty confident that won't be the issue. So there's different workouts, of resistance workouts, as well as cardio, and different resources for yoga. That's just gonna challenge you in almost bringing you back to the basics, so this is not anything of if you're trying to be a professional athlete, but if you want to just learn the basics of resistance workouts, of learning some really awesome movements to do as best as you can, that's going to make you feel really good.
Yeah, and I really appreciate how you put this together, Will, in the weekly modules, because you have an introduction to the module, you have a checklist that they can print off, you have the workout explanations with all the videos to show you how to do it, and then you have the resistance workout. There are three different fantastic workouts that you rotate in and out of these weeks.
Yeah.
That's really neat how you did that.
Yeah, and this course is stacked. I think there's over 40 plus instructional videos to literally explain everything you need to know on how to get happy, healthy, and strong.
Yeah, a ton of content in there, but with it broken down into the weeks with the checklist, by the time you finish the second and third week, you kind of know the routine. You get into it, and then you just have to anticipate the new workout that he's going to throw at you in
Yeah.
a different combination. So it's a fantastic course with a ton of stuff, and I think that's the value of the community, right, Will? If you have questions about, hey, what do I do here? What do I do there? You have a central place to go post up your question. Will's checking it. You get other people in the community as well that can help you. So a fantastic resource, Will.
Yeah, thanks so much. And that's been one of the coolest, most exciting things about it, is to start getting people into these and start getting their feedback and how it's working for them. It's really just awe and inspiring to me to see this stuff actually working, and helping other people change their lives. And, I think just like how I started it off, saying that the better one of our systems work, the better, the system as a whole works. I believe that the better one of us works, the better that our species will work, the better this earth will work. So just to bring up one person, or to bring up another person, or to even bring up ourselves, can be one of the most powerful ways that we can just make the world a better place.
Very wise words. Our friend David has posted up. He appreciates everything you've done through the course and through here, because he's doing Wim Hof breathing in the morning, meditating, intermittent fasting twice a week. And he feels like he's moving in a really good direction, and he's slowly losing weight, which was the goal that he intended for 2020 and 2021, feeling stronger physically and mentally. He does have a question, though, for you, Will. Why do you use airplane mode into just turning off the phone? You
Um,
don't like it the time it takes to boot back up, do you? It's just
yeah.
easier to put it in airplane mode.
I yeah, I guess just habit, like because I use airplane mode so much throughout the day, so like if I'm in a conversation, I'll turn my phone on airplane mode, if I'm going to do a training session, I'll turn my phone on airplane mode. Sometimes while having lunch, I'll turn my phone on airplane mode. Anytime I just want to be completely present in what I'm doing to give my best, I'll turn my phone on airplane mode. So um, I guess when I'm sleeping, I'm just trying to give my best. So back on airplane mode. But I mean, I could just turn it off. But for the amount of times that I turn my phone on airplane mode, I'd spend more time waiting for my phone to reboot than I could have got something done.
That's a good
But
point.
that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Stephen's asking, well, he's not asking, he's saying the course looked really comprehensive. So I guess from a coaching standpoint, you picked not only over 45 uh, videos, but also a 6 week time window to put it in. Can you talk about why you structured the content the way you did, and why you put it in a 6 week time frame? Just curious.
Um, because it takes about 6 weeks to really start making something a true habit. You know, it it if you do something for 1 week or 2 weeks, you probably won't get much results. But if you get something for 6 weeks, that's just enough time to make that habit a choice of, hey, this is something that I'm really going to do long term because it's making a difference, or hey, maybe this isn't for me. And I think in 6 weeks we can get a lot done. In 6 weeks you can literally completely change the route of what you're going. It's kind of like changing that compass just a few degrees that can literally change what country you're going to end up in. So that's really the goal with the course, is to change that degree to direct your energy towards that number one most important thing. And yeah, I think 6 weeks is the perfect time for that.
Now, Will, I know, having purchased a lot of online courses myself in the leadership and in the fitness space, I have a propensity to get in the course and want to complete it. The progression bar every time you log into Kajabi tells you what percent complete you are, and I can't stand that it is not complete. So I tend to rush through stuff. Uh, your course is really comprehensive with a lot of content. What advice would you have to prevent someone like me from not receiving the full value of the course by slowing down, breathing, and being a little patient?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the resources alone are enough to keep you interested and wanting to go back if you're always wanting to learn something more and keep that needle going, so to speak, or get the um, like that percentage a little higher for that little happiness of, oh, I accomplished it. But then you also have those 6 weeks. Well, hey, now you have to stay into it because you still got another 2 more weeks, and then each week perfectly progresses you and introduces you to another resource, essentially, to keep you interested and then being able to practice that as you go on.
Yeah, and what I value most about the way you did the checklist was the checklist really helped me stay present. I think that's where the value of this course is. Stay present in the day, the assignment, the movement, the eating pattern, the habit, whatever you want to call it. Be here today. Don't worry about the progress bar tomorrow. The checklist is going to
Yeah,
cover you tomorrow, right?
yeah.
You just
Get
have a very small action to take today, and it's either moving or eating and or both.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite parts of the course, because that's kind of what I had to do to keep me on it. Is I was creating a checklist of the 4 or 5 things that I had to do that day, because I know that when I did those things, that's when I was at my best. And that's where the checklist comes in. Is we even give you a PDF file so you can print this out and hang it up on your fridge. And then every time you check that off, it feels good. Oh, I accomplished something. And then at the end of the day, you can see how many that you did. And if you had a great day, hey, that's awesome. I had probably one of my better days. Or if you maybe missed one or two, you can kind of take note of that too, of seeing how maybe you can do better the next day, or see how even your day was changed throughout that. So that's kind of the cool thing about the daily checklist, is it, like you said, it keeps you present. It keeps you on it every single day, and it gives you that little thing to check off that you're accomplishing it.
Yeah, what I think is amazing, Will, if you're just 1% better every day on those checklists, can you imagine where you'll be in 6 weeks? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's amazing to think about.
And that's really like the whole intention, or the purpose of the course, is you're not gonna just wake up one day and be 40 pounds less weight, have no anxiety or no brain fog. It's a process that's at least 6 weeks of learning these habits, and then dialing these habits into your routine, which take about 6 weeks. And then to really like see a massive change in our life, it could take 6 months to a year. But to dial those habits into our routine and to make sure that we're on the right path, 6 weeks is that golden nugget.
Nice. So our friend David is asking a question, and I don't believe this is in Happy, Healthy, Strong. So he's going to stretch us, Will. We're going to have to express an opinion here. So David's asking, he's curious as to whether you recommend getting the COVID vaccine as part of being happy, healthy, and safe. So I cannot
Oh
wait to see how you answer this.
man. What a question. I believe on focusing what I can control, and what I know about health comes from the earth, and what I know, it's improving my diet, it's getting outside, it's getting some sun, it's getting some movement and getting some breathing. I'm going to trust that more than I trust anything else. I personally don't know what what's in that, why we need it, or what's it for. I don't know about that. But what I do know is how to be happy and how to be healthy and how to be strong. And that comes from within. Everything that we got and everything that we're doing and in our habits and in our routines. From my experience, every time I went for a quick fix for a pill or a procedure or a shot, it had short-term gratification with long-term consequences. It doesn't tend to help in the long term, but just makes you feel better in the short term. But I'm not saying that's what that is or that's what that can be. That's just from my experience. So I kind of stay away from the pills and the shots and all that stuff, but I kind of focus on building my own soil in my immune system, so to speak, and strengthening my immune system every day by the foods that I eat, by going outside, and even the emotions and connections I have with other people.
Nice.
So I hope that answered the question.
That was a brilliant, brilliant answer. And all I can add to that, because I think what you say is correct about what the foundation should be for all of us. And the only but being on the science side is that I've seen COVID do some really strange things to people who are happy, healthy, and strong. So it is new. It is a novel virus we've never been exposed to. We've got a lot to learn. Do I think we've solved all the problems in the vaccine? No, I don't. I think your best chances for survival if you are at risk is to get the vaccine. So, what does that risk look like? If you are increased in age, if you're above age 65 or older, if you have a weakened immune system, if you have multiple chronic health conditions, COVID can have some really nasty influence on you. I think with the best science we have today, the vaccine would be an appropriate consideration. I'm not saying it's the right answer, perfect for everybody. I'm saying it's available. And if I were at risk, I would really lean toward taking it. Um,
But I would also argue of really ask yourself, why are you at risk? Like what part of your routine has brought you to this point that, okay, now that I'm at risk? Because, like, from what I've seen, the people who are getting the worst of it, over 90% of the people who are getting the worst of it are coming from some sort of underlying illness or disease or lack of health.
which
And
aren't going to change very quickly.
yeah,
They're
but I mean, like, I would change my life before I let somebody put a needle in me that I don't know what it is. And I think a huge issue with our society is we're so quick to, oh no, save me with what you have, than to check internally of what we have. And I believe that we have so much more power in in what we have than we give ourselves credit for. Like, it's truly amazing if you do 100% change your diet, of how all of your numbers can change in 3 or 4 days, of your risks of all of these underlying diseases can drop by over 50% just by completely changing your life. And then if you go to the doctor and they tell you that you are at the highest risk, you know isn't that a great sign to say, hey, maybe I should change my life? Of like, okay, because every procedure I need, that's costing society a little bit more. if you're not in good health, you're costing your tribe. Like if you aren't happy and healthy, you can't contribute to your tribe or your family or your environment, but instead you're costing them. So this isn't all just about us, of like, oh, how can I get this over with? Like this is about so much more than just us and ourselves. And we have to get past that selfish thinking of, look, your health is not just about you, but the healthier you are, the better you can be for your husband, for your wife, for your kid, for your aunt, for your mom, and I think the more that we can take responsibility for our diagnoses that these doctors give us, the more that we can make true change in our lives and true change to our families and to the things and people we care about.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% that again, this should point a finger toward the foundations. That if you're having to discern a choice about healthcare during this pandemic, maybe it's an opportunity for you to invest some more time in your foundations. Maybe it's a time for you to get a vaccine. Maybe they go hand in hand. Maybe they don't. That's a personal choice. And also your response ability to go educate yourself. If you're relying on the vaccine to protect you 100% from COVID or any other chronic viral or bacterial condition, I think you're missing the point. You have an opportunity for prevention and prophylaxis another way too, which is becoming happy, healthy, and strong in anticipation of the battle to come with a virus. So no right answers I'm throwing out there. It's an option.
Yeah.
Educate yourself.
And I wonder how come nobody on the TV or the news is asking really where this came from or why it's here. Like they're just trying to, like, from my outside perspective, is sell you a quick fix if it's, a mask or a vaccine. Not that I'm saying masks and vaccines don't help, but the quickest reaction or a response is to almost adjust where all this money's going and to sell you something based on fear. And instead of us all coming together as one whole human species and asking why this is here, where it came from, like what is causing this virus to go about, because it's not as, I mean, it is normal, but it's not normal. You know what I mean? Like viruses like this are as normal as can be. There's 31 to the ninth power, some crazy amount of viruses just in the air that we breathe and the soil that we touch and the water that we drink. If viruses were bad for us, we all wouldn't be here. Like we've evolved and came with viruses. So why is this one hurting so many people? What is making this one so known? And I think these are the kind of questions that we could all be getting together and answering, but instead I feel like all the all the attention is on save me. I'm so fearful. Save me with whatever you have, people up there, in white coats and big buildings, and instead of realizing that we have so much more power than any anybody gives us credit for, just within ourselves, and especially if we have a strong tribe or group or family around us. And then maybe we ask, okay, why are these the people who are getting the most ill effects? Why is this here? What is happening to the earth for the earth to give us this? Because this is a communication thing. And I think that we're not connecting with ourselves or the earth enough to understand what's really going on.
Yeah, wow, you covered a lot right there, Will. I think if you look back in human history, there have been several medical outbreaks or pandemics that have created this same experience for our human existence. Viruses are here to grow. Viruses adapt and change with their environments as well. That's what they're here to do. So it's not uncommon for one to break out and then surprise us with some ill effects. It's happened before. it will happen again. I think the response to pandemics like this on a global scale, it's hard to get everybody saying the same thing. It's, but I think a lot of people are asking the right questions. I think it's, unfortunately, it's going to take us a long time to figure out and have the perspective of hindsight to go, wow, what happened? What could we do better in preparation for the next one that's coming around the corner? Tough one.
Yeah.
David's asking, do you wear a mask? I do in public.
Yeah. Yeah. I wear them in public too, but not when I'm in my car driving alone or if I'm going for a bike ride.
Yeah, I don't do it outside. I want to breathe in
Yeah.
what you affectionately call the
You know
microbiome, right?
and sometimes COVID or not, sometimes I'd like to wear a mask, like if I'm like an airport is a nice place where, or if you're stuck in a building where you don't necessarily want to share the microbiomes of all of the people that you don't know around you, you know? Because when you're breathing the same air as somebody, you're sharing an intimate connection with that person, and I think we become an average of the top 5 people that we surround ourselves for so many reasons. And one is because you're sharing that microbiome, because you're breathing in what they exhale and so on. So I think, I mean, every time I go into a urinal, I'd love to have a mask.
Mhm. Fair
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, that's not a microbiome I would want to breathe in.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Will, great questions, everybody. I'm sure we could have a whole episode on going back and forth on this topic as well as several other healthcare topics. But beyond all of our perspectives is a truth, and that is becoming the best version of yourself is your best defense moving forward. I don't think we would ever argue about that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And thank you guys so much for showing up, because this is how we can share each other's insights and learn from each other to share with others and to help bring each other up. So another thing is as well, um, if you're wanting to join in on these conversations that we're doing every single week, and we got all the topics even scheduled out on chatwithwillgrant.com, and you can reserve your spot to jump in like David is and ask questions for us. You can do that at chatwithwillgrant.com. We are back next Wednesday and the Wednesday after that and the Wednesday after that. I do want to give away a happy, healthy, strong course. If you're just want to go get it now, you can go get it at thewillgrant.com. But if you want to win it for free, the challenge this week is I want a picture posted on Instagram of you outside. It doesn't have to be a selfie if you don't like taking a picture of yourself. It could be just of the tree you're under, or if the lake that you're looking at. If it's a beautiful scenery, even better. Um, and just hashtag get outside with Will. Get outside with Will. Hashtag it right there. You can tag me as big or small as you want, but try to do that every single day. And the person that I see doing that, I'm gonna jump in their DMs and reward them with a free access pass to Happy, Healthy, Strong in 6 weeks, which is all my best habits, routines, workouts, nutrition plan, the whole deal.
Best gift that keeps on giving. Wow, I'm going to do it myself. Yeah.
Join the community.
Awesome, Will. It's always a pleasure to be with you, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's awesome, awesome to share fellowship with all of you.
All right. Thank you guys and see you next week. Bye.